Can you
What
hear
has he
us?
been doing
Hey, we're
up until this
live!
point?
Guys, we're live!
Whoa.
Yay!
Welcome back to the Riff Cafe.
Second's not here. Who wants to do the introduction?
I guess I will.
Okay, you're good at it.
I'm a moderator. Ladies and germs, those who decide. Welcome back to the Riff Cafe podcast with your host, Unova Brony. That's me. I know. We're great. Smoke patting on over to the awesome girl, Calliope Pony.
Hi, everybody! If there's anybody still there listening.
Next we
Who even
have
knows?
the jester with the yellow and black color scheme, Foolery.
What up? It's your boy, Foolery here.
And last but certainly not least, we have the one, the only shrine-making sunset fan, Pastor Nelson!
Yo, how's it going?
Who's even watching right now?
I have no idea. Maybe I'm just talking to silence.
Enjoy the silence.
Yeah, we're live.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
See, people always use that one, but it's like, can't we get a little bit of Depeche Mode in here? You know, enjoy the silence. Break right through me.
Okay, so I think
Come crashing into
what
my
our
little
favorite
world.
currently on cartoons are, right?
Yeah, well, we're a bunch of cartoon nerds, so.
Yeah. Bring on the animation love.
I actually just got done watching, what was that? I can't remember the full name, but it's an anime. Manako Magica.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And normally I'm not all about like the cutesy girl thing, but considering how dark that series got,
Yeah, it did get very dark.
and it's kind of like why I think I like One Punch Man so much, is because it's a deconstruction of a genre.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's why people appreciated, like, heck, things like, Evangelion, deconstructed the mecha anime series. I like it when they take risks. It's
Yeah.
straying from the norm, maybe trying to bring a more serious tone with what was normally like a genre that's usually not too serious, or making fun of the genre, such as One Punch Man, which is very much probably one of the best anime comedies out there.
Indeed.
So Magical Project S did a really good job of poking fun at the magical girl genre tropes.
Yeah. And it's weird to me to go out of my way to watch something like that, because I haven't been into anime in years. Like, I used to say to people, I stopped watching anime when Adult Swim stopped running Cowboy Bebop. And that was very true. I own all of Cowboy Bebop, and that will forever be my favorite anime. You can't tell me otherwise. And it's also like the best English dub of an anime I've ever heard. It's like the only one where I prefer the English dub over the Japanese dub, because the English dub is just so wonderfully done. Except maybe Akira, and that's the 1984 English dub of Akira, not the 2001 English dub of Akira, because the original English dub of Akira for syndication is just so bad it's good kind of a deal. It's like it's basically a comedy at that point, and Akira is not a funny anime at all. It is so serious and so dark, but if you want to take it seriously, watch it with subtitles, or if you speak Japanese, just watch it. But if you want to laugh out loud at some just terrible line deliveries, watch the original English dub of Akira. You'll be in for a few good laughs.
I died.
Oh yeah, so anyone who is watching, Second is playing Sonic 2.
No, I'm
Yes,
past
no,
analysis.
he mentions that he died.
Past analysis is
Oh.
playing. So
Oh, past analysis of place. Shite. I'm terrible with names. I apologize. I mean,
Oh, it's all right.
when you have 5 distinct personalities living in your body, do you expect me to remember everyone's name?
No.
Exactly. I've got it's all right. My mind is already pretty crowded anyway.
So,
My favorite Adult Swim anime was Inuyasha.
I never saw the appeal, but I don't think Inuyasha was made for a male audience, really. Plus, I found the actual character of Inuyasha absolutely insufferable.
ooh.
Well, that's always gonna be a big factor. If you don't like the main character, you're probably not gonna.
I just found him. His voice. Yeah. But that's just me. Full Metal Alchemist, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Samurai Champloo, plastic. Fantastic. Plastic. What the hell is plastic? Fantastic. I was trying to think of it. Was it Blue Gender? It was that one kind of opened my eyes to like extremely gory, disturbing anime. I think it was Blue Gender. That's the one where like the Earth's essentially like post-apocalypse, overrun with like these killer bugs, and like it's kind of like an Attack on Titan kind of thing, where like every episode somebody dies horribly, or multiple people die horribly. Because it's essentially like, and it's similar to Evangelion. It's like mecha. Everybody's like in mech suits and tanks and stuff, and you're pretty much just watching it to see who gets ripped out of their suit and ripped apart and eaten alive, kind of a deal. It's like, I guess it's like Game of Thrones. Okay, who's gonna die horribly this episode? It's one of those ones where you're mostly watching it just to see how people die, I guess.
Generally speaking, I'm not really into the shows where they have loads of people dying horribly. But if we're talking anime set in a post-apocalyptic world, I gotta mention Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Foolery, I would definitely recommend to you Hunter x Hunter, because
Hunter x Hunter was good. I've only seen a couple of episodes, but I did like what I saw. I really liked Baccano too. Baccano was good if you like just horrible gore, but everybody's like, all the main characters in that are like immortal, so you can like violently murder them and they just regenerate, and that was kind of the point. So
you're kind of sounding a bit far away.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, my Bluetooth headset is like one of those throat mics that wraps around your neck. So I said Baccano. I really liked Baccano because that one was basically every episode somebody dies horribly, but all the main characters in Baccano were immortal. So it's like they just regenerate. Like my favorite part in that is horribly disturbing. One of these immortals is like forever a little kid kind of a deal. And this one guy figures out that he's immortal. He can't die. And so he straps him to the bottom of a train. And basically it's just like his lower half is constantly getting ground off. It's just horrible. But it's like creative way of being like, oh, you can't die, but you can still feel pain, huh? So it's just like, well, that's something that happened. But, I think that's more of a reflection of how I am as like a writer and a creator. I played Grand Theft Auto 3 when I was like 11 years old or something. So I had older brothers. I watched Aliens when I was 7. I got exposed to a lot of really like scary stuff as a kid. And I don't know if it's like desensitized me, but I find that kind of subject matter and story writing to be far more interesting when I like it when there's like stuff at stake, when there's actual like real consequences. And that may seem weird from coming from a brony where there's really no real consequences when you consider MLP, but I do like a lot of like dark fictions and things like that come out of the fandom.
Hey guys, we have. Sorry.
What's up?
Okay, hey guys, we got ourselves a question from Mikadu Hunter 187. His question is, what anime gave a lot of fan service?
Ooh, a lot of fan service. There's some pretty gratuitous fan service in Cowboy Bebop. Basically, whenever we get a long splash shot of Faye.
You're fading out again.
Ah, crap. Hello.
Yep.
Okay, you're better now.
Okay. I'd bring up Cowboy Bebop because there's some pretty gratuitous fan service from Faye in a few episodes. So, but that's not the worst I've seen. There's an anime I heard of. I've never seen it, but it was basically making fun of fan service. I can't remember the name of it.
That sounds like it'd be up my alley.
Would that be Kill la Kill?
The thing is no, it's not Kill la Kill. Although Kill la Kill, I'd argue, would be one of those that is full of fan service, but to the point where it's making fun of it. I forget what it is. It's one of those high school drama animes.
If my is fading.
Crap. Oh man, I don't know what I'm doing here. Hold on. Real quick.
Second is saying Ghost in the Shell, maybe.
Oh yeah, Ghost in the Shell's got some bad moments. Hold on, real quick.
Personally, for me, I
me?
don't know if I can hear you.
Okay, I just switched over to my hard phone rather than my headset.
You sound a bit better now.
Yeah,
okay.
you do.
Well, it's an iPhone, so it's probably the microphone's probably better on this than it is on the headset. But with the headset, I can get away a little bit more with looking like I'm actually doing something. But I'll make it work. But yeah, Ghost in the Shell is full of fan service. Pretty bad. It gets pretty bad at times.
Well, as Bukaru points out, High School of the Dead.
Yeah, that's got it.
That's the Michael Bay of anime.
I can't remember the name of it. It's pretty notorious anime for making it. It's another one of those deconstructive animes, where it like makes fun of the genre or tropes. And I think at one point there's literally like a scene where one of the main characters is like all but is like groped by a tentacle monster. It's just like straddling the line of like what is acceptable.
Sword Art Online. It's Sword Art Online, isn't it?
No, it's not that. Something else. But Sword Art Online is the first one to bridge that gap between certain things like that. But whatever. I can't remember the name, so I guess it doesn't really matter in the end.
Yeah, it's all that matters is the journey that we took in the brain train.
Yeah. There's some pretty funny fan service-y kind of moments if you've ever watched the Animatrix, because it's like it seems really inappropriate to throw TNA into something like that for what is essentially just a series of short anime films related to the Matrix of all things.
Huh. Apparently it's now morning in the UK.
Oh yeah, UK's like 5 hours or something ahead of us, so.
Yep.
Yeah, we're talking about 7 a.m. or 8 a.m.
Yeah, it's 1:30 over here where I'm at on the East Coast, so.
Same.
Are you
It's
sure
about
it's not 2
1:30. It's about 2 o'clock.
It's about 2 o'clock, guys.
Yeah, it's actually going on 2 over here. I guess it's not. It was 1:30 a while ago. Yeah, whatever. Who's keeping count? Hey, I work nights. To be completely fair, I work nights. Okay, this is normal operating hours for me. I'm awake when no one else is around here. So, yeah, that's just the way it is.
I'm just pulling the knife there.
Well,
Bless
it's funny. It's funny. I became a security guard on night shifts like a couple years before Five Nights at Freddy's came out. And I actually had an idea for a game where you played a security guard in like a security booth, and there were like monsters running around, and you had to keep them on. And then it was like Five Nights at Freddy's came out, and I was like, well, there goes that idea. So, and I don't know how to make video games, but I thought it'd be fun to create a game where it's like people play monsters, and then there's like you're trying to get the security guard, and he has to, activate trips or traps and stuff like that, like kind of like a multiplayer game, not so much survival horror point and click game, but whatever. Oh geez, I mentioned the Animatrix. I know I'm probably seeming like I'm going all around here, but talking about gory anime stuff earlier, and I just remember that scene where the guy gets ripped out of his mech suit by the machines in the history bit they did of the Animatrix. That's like one of those anime moments that sticks with you. Ugh. No, thank you. I always thought it was funny that the kids next door made fun of the Animatrix. They had that riff episode, the history of how the kids and parents dichotomy came about. Anyways, anyone else got something to say? I feel like I'm talking too much.
Well, the question was about anime with fan service, and I tend to avoid that. So, seeing some of what passes for fan service in a lot of animes doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, true enough.
Yeah.
Never really did anything for me, but
Second, there's two
I'm
of
just
you.
not that kind of person.
Well, that fits the name.
Yeah!
Can you hear me now?
Hey!
Second is alive!
I had to grab a second laptop and coordinate between the two to get this going, and I hope you appreciate what I do for you people.
Second
I apologize for taking things from your channel. I didn't think you'd come back. Geez, this is awkward.
Bail out.
The door open. What do you expect?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I wouldn't come around here for a while past that. We might be cool though.
Wordplay. Well, second, where we were on the subject of animes that we know of with gratuitous fan fiction.
Some anime, the point is fan service with about gratuitous fan fiction, but there was this one that who was it? Bennett the Sage reviewed that I don't even know. It has like it's apparently the school event that every event is a really, really stupid metaphor for some kind of sex. Like they have a chocolate slide that you go down riding a banana. Which, guess what that represents?
I think we can have a few ideas.
Yeah, that was like one of the worst things I've ever seen, so I am very glad he tore into that.
So, do we have any other questions for the Cafe Cast?
Yeah, I mean, the ball's open to you guys who are still currently watching.
Yeah.
What's the view count anyway?
I killed that one if it wasn't dead enough already. But how much sauce of the good juice have you taken? Does anyone else have any questions?
What kind of question is that? Actually, I think Kalu can answer that question. Kalu, how much of the sauce of the good juice have you had? 11-4. Okay, there's your answer. 11-4.
Thank you. Here's a question we had real earlier. Who supports the Big Mac marble pie ship?
Personally, I'm more of a Cheerilee kind of.
I think a lot of people missed the point of that episode where they tried to hook up Big Mac and Shirley. But I don't see a problem with it. I mean, the only thing I have wrong with her is that she's essentially just a palette swap of Fluttershy. So
Yeah.
she's basically just season 1 Flutters. What do you want? And I know a few people who ship Flutters and Big Mac, so maybe they may get a kick out of it.
Oh my god, I just realized something. Like since season 5 and season 6, we now have technically 3 characters that could be considered season 1 Fluttershies.
Yeah, true.
While Fluttershy right now has become somewhat of a badass.
Season
I really like how they've developed Fluttershy's character.
Yeah, agreed.
That's true.
And as far as Big Mac ships go, I think the whole point of Hearts and Hooves Day was that he and Cheerilee are friends, not romantic interests. And beyond
But then
that,
they started hinting at it later in the show. So that's why I'm a fan of it. I don't know. That's just.
I really prefer to have them as friends than as romantic interests. And beyond that, I think that someone like Big Mac, who's very quiet and introverted, would pair well with someone who's more extroverted.
Also,
not that I take part in a lot of shipping. I'm more inclined to say, okay, just let the show decide what's what, and then, I mean, unless you have any objections, then that's fine. But I did like the comics thing where they hinted at maybe pairing in with Luna. I thought that was fun.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Especially the way she just roped him into being her partner for the various contests.
You look strong enough to help me win all the games. You can almost keep up with me while I enjoy beating everyone single-handedly.
And he admitted at the end that he actually had fun with it.
That was kind of cute how he seemed like he was growing fond of her.
Yeah.
Like smiling affectionately at her antics. But,
Guess that's a good point to move on to something else.
well,
yeah.
I don't know. The next question is, if a robot does the robot, is he just dancing?
Or is he not dancing? If the robot does the robot, is he just being?
Well, if humans dance the robot, then do robots have a dance called the human?
We're getting pretty deep here, man.
Yeah.
I think this is out of our ballpark. You may want to take that question over to Dr. Wolf.
Yeah. You might be able to give us some.
I don't know. Maybe that's like, if you want to get technical, maybe it's like if Usain Bolt does the Running Man, like, no, he's not just running. He's just doing a dance that you think he'd be particularly good at. Or not, because you have to stay in place for the Running Man, but...
If Luna does the moonwalk, is it just a walk?
If who does the moonwalk?
Luna.
There was a pony in G1 who did the moonwalk. It was a
How,
pony
like, when
pop.
they're flying, they also still animate them running?
What?
Like how, well, I mean, I'm just watching the episodes, it's like the ponies fly, but if you see a side view of it, they still just sort of animate it like they're running, except they're not on the ground and they're flapping their wings. But no,
That's
somebody
pretty
actually
typical
did the moonwalk.
That is pretty typical for animation of flying horses. I mean, look at something like the old Fantasia segment. They tend to move their legs as they go through the air.
Didn't actually Pegasus do that in Hercules?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen Hercules. No, but I mean, but they actually had a pony do, like, on the ground, do the moonwalk.
Yes, in G1, they had an arc called Bright Lights, in which they had a pony pop star who was clearly a takeoff on Michael Jackson, and he performed the moonwalk at his concerts. And all the female ponies were gushing over him. And then he kidnapped the foals and did bad dark magic to them that made them feel sick.
So completely based on Michael Jackson.
And this was made before all the stuff became public. Oh, hey guys, we got an interesting question here. It says, if you see your OC in real life, what would you do?
Wow.
I have no idea.
Challenge him to a dance-off.
I would pay money to see that.
Well, if knowing my OC's miserable life, I'd give him a hug.
Aw.
I'd tell him it'd be okay.
Aw, that's sweet.
For me, if I were to see my OC out in public, like just staring at me, I would just be like, "You want to fight?"
Big whoop, you're a cartoon horse. Want to fight about it?
Like, who can out-yell who?
Screaming
Be
man.
full on anime screams like,
I am the real Unova Brony.
No, I am. Then it becomes like this huge brawl, and then it suddenly comes up into the air. They were just literally like fighting like DBC style, just like, what the heck is going on in this reality? Why is there a human fighting against a cartoon gigantic horse? Why is fighting with swords? This is insane! Insane!
Little known fact, Unova specializes in voicing unlisted extras.
If I met my OC in real life, I think I would just have a ton of questions.
Such as?
How are you even here?
Exactly. How are you even here? How are you real? If you're here, does that mean that there's a real equestria? If there's a real equestria, is it like it is in the show, or is it completely different? And how did you get here? Did you use like a mirror portal, or is there some other kind of
any questions?
Yeah.
My OC is technically, like, the little story I wrote for it, my OC is technically just me, because Second Opinion is already kind of a character. So, I guess just Second Opinion period is my OC, not necessarily the pony. Right. I feel like I'm writing All Dogs Go to Heaven here. Like, I thought animals can just talk to each other in movies. No, animals can only talk to their own kind in this movie, but there's a girl that can talk to all of them. This doesn't sound confusing, does it?
And to be fair, using logic from that film isn't the best idea.
And yet, still my favorite Don Bluth movie.
Yeah.
Well, in Watership Down, each species of animals had their own language, but then there was also the hedgerow vernacular that was like a very limited language that they could use to communicate with animals from other species.
Actually,
don't remind me of Watership Down.
Setup where, like, animals, some animals at least can only talk to their own species, although the ponies and the animals that associate closely with the ponies can speak, but like there's an iffy sort
it's kind of unfortunate.
Dogs cannot talk to ponies, but diamond dogs can. Reezies cannot. Fluttershies can talk to everyone. I think they're kind of flying by the seat of their pants on that one.
That reminds me. You ever know that question they asked who we'd like to see return in the next season? I wanted to say this, but I withheld it. I'd say the yaks, but only so that we can throw them in a mass grave.
Oh,
I don't know, I can see the writers apologizing for the yaks being willing to
Yak
Yaks
genocide?
mad. Discord snaps. Yaks
Yeah.
gone.
Yo, genocide!
Discord's mad too.
well, I didn't like the characters of the yaks that we met, but I would be open to the idea of going to Yakistan for an episode and seeing more of yaks and yak culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like seeing the expanded races and countries.
Turns out it's partly because Iron Will is the most popular self-help guide there.
Oh!
What yaks do when yaks get mad? When some pony man.
When some pony tries to block
you
you,
mad,
show them that
you
you
make
rock.
them sad. I also can't do Iron Will lines, evidently, but
See, if I ever do Iron Will, it's just my Macho Man impression, and that's not really what Iron Will was. He was an amalgamation of a bunch of wrestlers, so yeah.
and possibly Hercule
Yeah.
Satan.
Yeah! Satan!
Mr.
And I
T,
definitely got a
Macho
bit of
Man.
an infomercial announcer vibe from him.
Yeah, that too. He's kind of a lot of things. There was some Hulk Hogan to him. There was some Mr. T to him. There was definitely some of that, Hyatt's Vince with slap chop kind of vibe to him.
His offer.
Yep. But I wouldn't mind seeing Iron Will again, or at least more Minotaurs.
Mm.
Because a lot of people interpret the episode as blaming Iron Will for everything. I don't think that's necessarily what it was doing, but I can see them bringing him back and getting more into what he's about and what he's not about.
Yeah,
because he didn't give really good advice for Fluttershy, and she took his advice further than what he probably intended. But he was not a bad person as a character.
See,
nah.
what I commonly hear from critics of that episode is that it was all of Fluttershy's fault, and I don't really think that's totally on the mark. I mean, one of his quotes was literally, don't apologize, criticize. Not a very good lesson.
I mean, yeah, I do think he did. There were flaws in his approach, and he did deserve to be corrected. But I mean, that doesn't necessarily need to involve making him a bad guy.
Oh no, he wasn't a bad guy. I'm just saying that
you don't have to pay.
saying that he
Fluttershy
had
wasn't
some
rightly
fault.
so.
I mean, what happened?
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
yeah, that fits.
I'm just saying he had some fault.
Well, I think it would be fair to say that both of them were partly at fault for the situation. Iron Will did not give the best advice, but if Fluttershy had taken his advice in moderation, then she would have done all right. It was when she took his advice and completely ran with it that the situation got out of her control.
If there's one thing the citizens of Ponyville have proven time and time again, they're not the brightest bunch.
Easily led. They are easily led crowd.
Yes, they are. I mean, look at what Flim Flam have been able to pull multiple times. And it's just kind of like
the Trixie display.
Oh yeah, Trixie and so many others that have just kind of shown up and wooed the entire town to turn against people, and it's just wow.
They don't have the internet yet. Scammers aren't
it's just
easily exposed.
It's all it would take is somebody to show up and tell them, I'm a Saddle Arabian prince. If you give me, $500 million, I'll give you a return on your investment plus 10%. And that sounds like a wonderful idea, And then all of a sudden, everybody's giving up everything they have.
Yeah. Ponies are not so good at seeing through scams. They're also not so good at solving riddles, if I remember. Discord's riddle. Tricks and turns are my master plan. Then find the elements back where you began. Well, he said twists and turns somewhere in there, so I bet he meant they're in the random maze outside the window that I just happened to spot as the first thing that comes to mind. Like, that was a bit...
Yeah, no. They're not very bright.
Yeah.
We'll probably have a field day on these ponies.
But you know, we could. There are so many countless instances of that. You know, it's we'd be here all night.
Yeah. You have a chance to go to Equestria, but you being sent with a gun with 6 bullets. What will you do?
What was the question?
You have a chance to go to Equestria, but you are sent with a gun that has 6 bullets in it. What do you do?
Sent to the gun?
Wait, you mean you're sent to Equestria and you have a gun with you?
Yeah, I think that's what it's implying.
Okay, so you get to go to Equestria, and as a bonus, you also get to take a loaded gun with you.
You only have 6
I probably
shots,
wouldn't
though.
use. I probably wouldn't use the gun unless something attacked me.
Yeah, why would you use the gun? I don't
know. I mean,
I think they're implying that we can get rid of something we don't, something or someone we don't like.
Like, I mean, if a random villain attacks, that might be a good time, but use that. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like the gun just, hey, extra insurance, thanks. Now I'll still go to Equestria and do all the things I was planning to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was going to go to Equestria, then I would want to, have parties with ponies and see shows and fun things like that. I would have no reason for a gun that I can think of.
You have no reason to go for bloodbaths.
I mean, I don't know. Unless you want to get in, do you have a moral responsibility to end those you know are going to become irreversible? Yeah, totally not the right
Okay,
way to
here's
do
the
that.
question.
So,
How do we know anything?
Well, we have the outside.
Do we really know
going to be a villain?
Do we really know anything?
But in the world of Equestria, you never know which villains are going to get redeemed and become allies.
It'd be a good, I guess, unless you were planning to take over Equestria. And even then, it's like, is Celestia bulletproof? That is
In that
the
case,
question.
Yeah, that's it. Well, unless they're talking about which characters would you get rid of that are just that annoying. And admittedly, I might be a little tempted if the Yaks came around, but
if that's
Okay,
the case,
well,
I'm
here's a
finding.
But second. If you attacked the Yaks with the gun and you missed, then they would say that your assassination attempt was not perfect and they would smash you.
yeah, I mean, okay, so I'd have to hit, and then they would be happy.
So I think that
I'd probably also
question
Wonder
would
Balls,
probably be
except for Rainbow Dash.
which character do we want to write out of the show? I think that would be a more.
Do we? Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, do we even need to write any characters out? Except, I don't know, maybe Starlight.
Oh, I would love to do that.
Yeah. I mean, granted, she did provide and this isn't universal for everybody. She did provide, I think, one of the better episodes last season, but that was just kind of because they.
See, my problem is, I think a lot of people who hate on Starlight are fans of Sunset, and
I don't think she's.
I think it's only because they think that it should be Sunset and not her. Well, and for someone who hasn't seen Equestria Girls, I have no problems with Starlight. I don't see why people don't like her.
I don't like Starlight because I thought they had a fantastic setup for a scheming, manipulative, powerful villain. And I was really excited to see what they were going to do with her as a villain. And then in the last minute of the finale, they say, nope, she was just sad because her friend moved away and everything's better and she's going to be good now.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Sunset, but I don't know if I'm like my dislike of Starlight has nothing to do really with wanting Sunset to be the one that is the apprentice in Equestria. My beef with Starlight is that, one, her reformation is just like it just sucks. Like it's a bad reformation if I've ever seen one, in my opinion. And
Worst
Now,
tragic backstory ever.
is it like you got to keep in mind it's a kid show.
well, yeah, but
It
I would
does
argue
have
that
some.
literally every redemption in this show has been done better than Starlight's.
no, but see, like
Except for maybe Nightmare Moon and Discord, what other redemptions are there?
Diamond Tiara.
Sunset Shimmer,
Trixie.
you could say.
Tiara, Trixie.
And even then, like,
not really the flim Silver
Yeah.
Shill,
Silver Spoon.
Coco
Yeah.
Camel.
Gilda.
Even Diamond Tiara to some extent.
they're irredeemable. Her and Silver Spoon are irredeemable. You give me a loaded gun, I'll put 3 bullets into both of those. Into both of them.
I didn't really buy it either, but
I don't buy it, and that I think that's the overarching problem we have with MLP. For me, at least, is that they keep trying to redeem people, and it's getting a little excessive. And I think that maybe what we're seeing here is some people are just like, her redemption arc sucks, when it may be that they're just tired of redemption arcs. And I think Calliope touched on that she wanted a villain rather than just another person to be redeemed.
well,
I think that
I wouldn't have objected to her being redeemed if they had done it well.
yeah.
But they did it so badly. I mean, she brainwashed and enslaved an entire village. She stole their cutie marks. She stalked the princess for a year. She broke into the castle. She tried to rewrite history. And why? Because a childhood friend moved away and didn't keep in touch.
Well, that's
like,
the root of why she became who she was. She
but
was
see-
trying to undo Twilight Sparkle because Twilight Sparkle
I
ruined
don't
her
even
life.
really have a problem with that part. My problem is that, okay, so you have this fanatic person, and she winds up showing you the reason she is fanatic. I think that would make her more fanatic, no? Like,
No,
why would
that just
that
comes
mean
back
that she
to
would
why
then be-
this
because
show is just
Twilight's-
trying to redeem everybody.
But Twilight's speech to why she shouldn't do what she was doing was pretty weak. I mean, I think
Yeah, and overall, that whole season ending was pretty bad. And that whole season kind of sucked.
but I also don't like Starlight because I think that the way she's been handled in season 7, or I mean season 6, was bad.
Oh,
I mean,
she's the best part of like the season opener for me.
Oh no, she was for me too. But the rest of the season, she was hardly in it. We didn't really get a very solid episode that was just about her learning a lesson. Even, what is it, No Second Prances? That episode was sort of a Twilight episode in some respects.
Yeah,
I didn't like
I
No
liked
Second
her
Prances.
episode,
I don't
but I
get
thought her arc was less than the sum of its parts.
And then
Yeah.
we have every little thing she does, and in that episode, she reveals that this entire time she's been basically avoiding the whole friendship thing entirely, and it's like, well, gee, thanks, DHX. I was kind of hoping you'd develop her more, but no, you just kind of gave yourself this excuse.
yeah, and that's I think the biggest problem I think people have with her is that, especially I was expecting a lot more focus on her this past season, and
then
we didn't get it.
And then
And
they have the gall in the season 6 finale to
Yeah.
act as though they did.
Yeah, and they really oversold her, and it was just it didn't work, and that's why I didn't like the season finale. Even it's why I kind of lost interest in reviewing this past season, because I was expecting a lot more focus on her, and I wanted to see more focus on her because I like the idea of her character, and I actually liked her motivation because, and I know everybody hates it, but think about it. She's the perfect antithesis to what Twilight stands for as a princess. And why wouldn't you want to reform someone like that? Why wouldn't the princess of friendship want to make this person who doesn't believe in friendship see the beauty of it? But we didn't get that. We got kind of just the same old, and they had a real opportunity. They didn't take advantage of it.
And it just raises the giant question of why did they even bother to reform her then?
Mm-hmm. I'll agree. It's not so much that I don't like her. I don't like what they've done with her.
Yeah, if they had given her a proper reformation arc like Discord had, or like Sunset Shimmer got in the movies, a proper arc to establish and develop her as a protagonist, then that could have worked, but they never bothered to actually do anything with her.
Yeah.
I consider those two things, though, one and the same. Like, her writing was what the writers did with her was terrible. But typically with a lot of characters that are bad or not good, it is kind of the case that the writers just butchered what those characters were. At least that's my view.
Yeah, I mean, even if you break it down to like just the motivation for reforming, like I don't know, Discord, it was because he got something he'd never had before that he started to consider maybe even more valuable than his Chaos World, and then even then he went back on it a little bit because like he was almost. I mean, it's not like yeah, the heart of the cards. You see the infinite power of friendship once, and like bam, it's #1 at all times for you. So that was well done. What else? Like Silver Shill, who is just like generally has a weak resolve. He's a very mild character. He's willing to go along with the Flim Flam brothers, but he's actually inspired by someone who takes a very bold stand, is everything he's not. Sure, like
you showed me that honesty isn't the best policy.
What?
You showed me that honesty isn't the best policy. That's one of the things that he said to Applejack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Starlight Glimmer, she is willing to brainwash, kidnap, physically and mentally deform others against their will, blame them when they fight back and resist her and it doesn't work out for her. It's like completely narcissistic, borderline sociopathic, and like they think that can be justified as she's lonely. She feels like people don't really care
To me, that's
her. Like
to me that's not a bad arc. That's not a bad reason to do what you do. Because when you look at it, her best friend earned his cutie mark and was whisked off to magic school, and she was left behind. And we don't really know anything else other than that.
Yeah, so that I think is the problem more than it is the explanation.
Yeah.
I mean, to just assume that, okay, you can, that just showing kindness to someone who's like that narcissistic, that willing,
and we've seen how mean
by you.
We've seen how mean ponies can be to one another. So who's not to say that after, she lost, oh crap, I can't remember his name, but
Sunburst.
Yeah, so after Sunburst left, who's to say that she couldn't make any other friends? Maybe she was like, the Cutie Mark Crusaders, where she had bullies, people made fun of her, she wasn't able to stand out.
But they never showed any of that.
Yeah, but
on
who's
its
to say
own,
that's
one
not? I
friend
guess that's
moving
more
away.
delving into my head canon, but.
I mean, on its own, a friend moving away is something that every kid goes through. That in some ways could even heck, be healthy if it teaches you how to.
See, because
with
like
stuff like
it
that,
happened to me. I had a friend of
preparation.
mine growing up. He was my only friend I had in kindergarten, and he moved away to England, and I didn't have friends again until 5th grade. So for a good 5 years, I didn't have friends. I was the school punching bag, and I can relate to that because I saw groups of people as a threat rather than something I wanted to be a part of, because kids would gang up on me.
Yeah.
And see, I guess it's just my own experiences, but I was a weird kid, and I guess I brought a lot of that onto myself. But
No, I mean, I think that's relatable too. That like, okay, yeah, sometimes that kids roll snake eyes in groups of friends, and sometimes, like, I mean, heck, I felt like
well, let's be perfectly honest here. Children can be absolutely evil.
Yes, they
Yeah.
can.
It can be pretty hard, and I mean, but I mean, like that. Well, there's this quote from this movie called Dear Zachary about like this suspected murderer who was allowed to go loose because, and I quote, like the person they wanted to kill like has already been taken care of. So even if they did, there's nothing further to worry about, and the people of the harmed part, the family of the harmed person that they're interviewed, they're saying that makes zero sense. If you're mad, if something, okay, if you are a reasonable person and like you're upset about something, you might have a screaming match, you might yell, you might heck, even hit somebody. You would not kill somebody if you are a remotely reasonable, rational person. You are not safe to be around if you feel entitled to do that. And I feel like that kind of applies to Starlight for, like, I guess she was willing to physically, mentally deform others for life. Like, I mean, that comes across as kind of sociopathic if you think about it.
Oh,
And
yeah, and
I feel like
there's
it's almost
I'm not
irresponsible
pardoning
to tell
what she
kids
did
that
at
can
all.
be. But I feel like it's almost irresponsible even to tell kids that can be fixed by just showing a little kind of that you should turn the other cheek and let your guard down to that.
I would actually compare Starlight to Moondancer, because Moondancer took it really hard when Twilight moved away, when some pony that she considered a friend moved away, and she didn't handle it well. And then she felt afterwards that she didn't have any friends to connect to. And that is what I would consider a bad reaction that's within the scope of reasonability. Starlight, on the other hand, had a bad reaction that escalated to becoming a sadistic cult leader, which is not within the realm of reasonability.
Anything's possible.
Possible, but not necessarily reasonable.
See,
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
guys,
definitely not
don't-
reasonable.
Just want to say,
I can't state this enough. My issue with Starlight has nothing to do with her motivations. I can buy that. My issue with Starlight really has everything to do with their, rather sloppy explanation of her reformation and her treatment in season 7. Why do I keep saying that? Season 6.
season 6. Yeah,
I think Calliope, you were about to say something.
yeah. I was just gonna say it's really late, so I think maybe another 10 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna head out.
All right. Is there some kind of final topic that anyone wants to discuss? Any great note to end on here?
I hope Starlight gets some better chances to prove herself in season 7.
Oh, absolutely. I could not agree more.
Oh,
They find
Yeah,
a
if
role
they
for
can
it.
actually,
And
they can
need
actually
to-
give
they-
her some real development, then great.
I'll put down another answer if you gave me a loaded gun and I went to Equestria. Silver Spoon, Diamond Tiara, and Flash Sentry would all just disappear.
Disappear. But
Take
I
that
honestly-
into Yakistan instead. But,
I
how about hopes for season 7? That might be a good final topic.
I honestly think that they should probably have an episode of all the key players of the season 6 finale, but in an actual slice of life setting, to show that friendship connection, even though it was born from the rest of like the other main 6 ponies not being there, can continue on and is not selective of like just the premiere and the finales, because really that would be quite a spectacle to behold, having that much characterization be there for like one episode.
I hope that whatever they set up in the season opener, they actually follow through with it for the season. Because we got the friendship map in season 5, nothing happened with it pretty much.
Yep.
We
Also,
got
season 4, not much happened with the whole
we got
Alice.
Starlight Glimmer, season 6. She didn't do jack. If you're gonna have like a theme or something that's gonna try and carry through, friggin' stick with it and keep it in our faces rather than playing it safe and going back to the usual kind of stuff. And the usual stuff is fine. It's just, can we get a little bit more story out of things?
Yeah.
It seems like the story really only applies to the season opener and the season finale, and nothing else really matters.
And maybe an episode or 2 in the middle.
With Pinkie Pie. Absolutely. Give me some of that.
I really hope to see an episode to give more development to Cadence and Shining Armor.
Yeah.
Actually,
That's always nice.
yeah, I mean, I actually
Cadence,
really like
really.
Cadence from what we've seen of her so far. I want them to get more into that. Like, they've kind of hinted. I mean, anyone can write a character, granted, whose power is like to spread love, like they are the nicest pony. But I think they've thrown in, and I've said this before, but I'd like the hints they've thrown in that Cadence, that it's actually like she's not just nice. She's probably a stupid way to phrase it, but she's good at being nice. Like, she kind of has that foresight, that talent at seeing like what would make someone's day or what someone needs. Like what that scene in Twilight's Kingdom where she coaxes Twilight's insecurity out of her, gets her to open up about it, or where she like decides to make Spike a minor celebrity, or at least a big shot celebrity in her kingdom, just like to give him the due that he doesn't get otherwise, and but while being like very aware when he's in trouble and like might need some backup, like when he can't light the torch. But so no, I agree. I want to see Cadence and Shining Armor do some more.
Yeah, because I feel like Cadence especially has all the makings for a really good character. We've gotten lots of hints about her, especially in some of the books, but she's never gotten the development.
Probably the same for Shining Armor.
Yeah, he's got a little bit more development, and I want to see an episode with him joining up with Spike and Discord and Big Mac to play ogres and oubliettes.
That would be good. It'd be good to have another guy's episode.
With this time with Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie, yeah.
Yeah, Pinkie and Rainbow could join them because
that'd be fun.
they jumped in at the end there.
And the chance is still it's guys' night for no reason whatsoever.
Possibly can make a narrative out of it. Could possibly make for a better episode than, say, I don't know, that like that Christmas Carol episode from season 6 that literally had no point at all. It was supposedly a Starlight episode, which I just call bull.
Which I have to say, why on earth did they waste a Starlight episode slot on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got a Scrooge. How about that has its own page on Wikipedia claiming it's one of the most acclaimed episodes of the season and the show.
Bull.
I know that's bull. That is bull. That is bull. I know very few bronies that even like that episode. That is.
I mean, it got some acclaim, but I mean, like from the major brony analysts, it seems. I've seen it all range from like liked it just fine to That's the reaction I've seen anyway.
Oh my god.
But yeah, my hope for season 7 actually is that they put Twilight back in the spotlight. I mean, we followed her journey. Like, she, for better or for worse, is the heart of the show. You can't really, like, I feel like it shows that they've sort of, had her drift out of that role the past couple seasons. Like, we followed her from, all the way up when she was just, like, this apprentice, just kind of working her way up to, where she hit her stride, and now she's, I don't know, they seem to be kind of trying to uneasily put her in the Celestia role. Like, no, I want to see the challenges that come with being a leader. I want to see what she likes about this and doesn't like about this, because, like, I do not buy the argument that she's just done, that, like, she's learned everything she needs to, and now she never has any real problems again.
I'm serious. I'm serious when like, if they try to do what they did with No Second Prances again in season 7, I'm just gonna be like, guys, that's it. Like, I don't even care about Twilight anymore if they do that again.
I know Twilight is smart, and she has shown in episodes like Twilight Time and Testing that she has the skills to be a really good teacher, and now they gave her a student and they just made her into a bad teacher for no reason.
Yeah, No Second Prances is a fun episode, but it doesn't make sense. Again, that's a consistent problem with this series, is that characters, especially the main 6, they seem to constantly forget lessons they've learned or break character.
I really
part of that episode.
Prances.
I buy every part of that episode except the Starlight Twilight dynamic. I felt like that was wrong.
Yeah.
And
that's an
Twilight
episode
is
where
technically
Starlight.
right. Like, Caution is important, but they make her completely obnoxious and oblivious in how she delivers that message, and they make Starlight. They try to make her the sympathetic one while saying completely stupid things. I'm just like, okay, you're about as wrong as you could be on this one.
They made them into an overbearing mother and a whiny teenager.
Oh god! No!
Yeah.
Also, I like the fact that Trixie essentially was going to commit suicide. It's like, screw it.
I mean,
really,
it's almost like she didn't even realize that that's what she was doing until she was flying at the thing's mouth.
By the way, does anyone think
like,
it's really, really fucked up that Starlight's first instinct for when someone is silent is to forcibly make them talk with magic?
I kind of like that, like how Starlight. I thought
The rest of her personality.
I think that's, again, part of her whole. She doesn't really have social skills. So
No. Like, I think that it was good in terms of showing what her character is like. I just think it was fucked up. Like,
like, they should have gone more into that. Like, okay, how twisted is Starlight? Like, okay, what does it actually take to reform someone like this?
Twilight, you should get a cap on that. Pronto.
That was one of my biggest problems with every little thing she does, is that at the end of it, Starlight seemed to have learned that brainwashing people isn't nice, but she still didn't seem to grasp the concept of why it isn't nice.
Oh god! It's.
Hey, I mean, if they're able to reform Discord, someone who, terrorized Equestria for what sounds like a really, really long time, anything's possible.
Oh yeah, that's right. Discord has the proven
Discord versus Starlight.
See, we talk about how Ben Starlight is. Remember, Discord was locked away in stone for like a really, really long time because apparently he was just the worst.
Well, I feel like it's almost like the bad Santa versus bad teacher argument. Like, bad Santa works because bad Santa is so ridiculously over the top. Like, nobody is actually like that. It's just hilarious. And he's also, they show his sympathetic side. Like, he's almost desperate. Is like, you almost buy it. Bad teacher, she's not as over the top. It just feels like this, how a horrible human being would be. And she's not sympathetic enough. Like, she's just, okay, it's like the movie. It didn't get
true
ratings overall because she's just a bad person. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, well, Agree to disagree, then I suppose.
All right, guys. I
And-
am very, very tired, so I think I'm going to say goodnight.
Yeah.
Thank you and everyone else for being very good sports through all of this. I had a great time.
As did I.
Me as
All right.
well.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night, Calliope.
Teddy
Guess
bye,
what,
fools
guys?
and fillies.
I'm back at Winged Fortress Zone. Yay!
Congratulations.
This game is a very fast game.
Anyway, I think we all.
All right, well,
answered
I'm going to hop on out of here, so I will say tatty bye for now.
Happy bye. Bye.
It was good times, great oldies. WKRFT.
This guy's asking, is anyone going to conventions? If anyone wants like their sign out to be where to look for in the near future.
I'm maybe going to BronyCon. It's not 100%, but I'm maybe going to BronyCon this year.
I have
That's
no
one in
plans
August,
for
right?
conventions, really.
That is fair.
Yep. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all later.
Peace.
BronyCon is the one in August, right?
Yeah.
I might be going. I think that's the one we were planning on going to, wasn't it? You know, with everyone
Turn
else.
this off.
So yeah, my first Brony convention is probably going to be in August.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, don't
It's like the
worry.
last nail in the non-Brony coffin.
Well, don't worry, second. With me around, I'll definitely show you the ins and outs of the BronyCon.
All right, and I guess the rest of us are going to get going too. So thanks for watching, everybody. It's been a fun after party.
Yeah.
All right. And good night.
Night.
Good night, good luck, and ciao.